Children spend approximately 20% of their time in school, with 80% of time spent out of school. Research shows that what children do out of school profoundly affects what they do in school. For over 25 years, BELL, which is Building Educated Leaders for Life, a national nonprofit, has partnered with school districts and youth organizations to expand learning time to improve the academic achievements of children living in under-resourced communities. Our next guest is CEO of this national organization, working in 34 states across the country. She believes a lack of after-school summer programs for underserved students is a national crisis. Dr. Lauren Sanchez Gilbert, who not only serves as CEO for BELL, was an assistant superintendent in Massachusetts, and is also the Latina mother of school-age children. To give us her perspective on this topic, we now welcome Dr. Lauren Sanchez Gilbert, CEO of BELL. Welcome to Urban Update. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me here.
Great to have you here. So let's start with summer's here now. Everyone's just about getting out of school. What does this usually mean for children in underserved communities?
Well, you know, I was a longtime public school educator. In fact, this is my 22nd year in education. And at the end of the year, you always see that moment of throwing papers and books and so on, and it's exciting. And for so many middle and higher income children, it means going to some enriching camp or some other activity. But for our low income children, what it means is time in front of a TV, often parents trying to find alternatives, ways to keep them safe. But what it means more than anything is that they're going to lose ground. They're going to lose 2 to 3 months academic gain during that summer time period. And by the time they're in 8th grade, that summer learning loss translates to 2 to 3 years below grade level, which is significant.
Wow. Now, you call this lack of after-school and summer programs a national crisis. Why is that? And is it worse in some communities than others?
You know, I wouldn't say it's necessarily worse in some communities than others. What it is it's worse for students who do not have access to high-quality programs. It's a crisis because the achievement gap between higher-income peers and lower-income children is actually widening. We put in a lot of effort as a country into this, but it's actually getting worse, not better, and we need to create a sense of urgency. And a huge portion of that achievement gap is actually summer learning loss. So there is a really quick solution that we can put in place for these young people if we actually value it and want to prioritize it as a country.
Well, let's talk about your model here. How do you deliver success with your program?
Sure. So it is a holistic program. We add in academics that are quite rigorous. We have highly skilled, certified teachers running the programs. But we also need to make it fun because it is summer. So we have great enrichment activities. They're not just typical camp enrichments. We want it to be high quality programs that their typical middle income families would get, like engineering programs, yoga, Zumba, dance, ballet, so that they can have an enriching experience. But the most important part is actually what we do to focus on increasing these children's self-esteem so that they see themselves as learners and scholars when they go back to school.
Who do you partner with typically?
We typically partner with schools or other service agencies like the YMCA. We partner here with YMCA in Boston and in Brockton, Fall River. They then deliver our program in their facilities or whoever it is, school district they partner with.
Now, how do you seek them out, these various partners?
We find those that are equally mission-oriented like we are. You know, obviously Boston Public Schools is, but the YMCA is a great organization who has a real mission right now to actually give back to the community. So
talk to me about maybe some of your success stories or your success rate, who benefits the most?
Well, I'd say there's 2 main populations that benefit the most. Obviously, it's the students. Our scholars make 2 to 3 months gain instead of 2 to 3 months loss, which is huge. They also make huge self-esteem gains. They repeatedly report in that they are making, they're able to go back to school and be better prepared to deal with challenges. The families become more involved in their child's education. But honestly, the most important part is that the teachers gain greater skills because they're being in our program. And ultimately, they're the ones who impact these scholars.
Now, I know you've got some local ties. Can you talk a little bit about your Massachusetts connections?
Sure. Well, I have lived here now for 20-something years and have worked in Worcester Public Schools and Natick, went to Boston College. And then us as an organization, we were actually named after Dr. Bell, the first African-American tenured law school professor at Harvard.
Derek Bell.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And we were actually founded by Harvard Law School students.
Yeah, that's a big Massachusetts connection. Now, I would imagine that as a Latina mother of school-age kids, you're especially concerned about the children from your community as well.
Absolutely. You know, it's one child, and you know, I want her, just like every other mother, you know, wants their child to have a better experience than I did. You know, to have more opportunity out there where she is able to meet her full potential. And in every scholar, wherever I go, I see my child. You know, I'm a single mom, and there are a lot of single moms in our programs doing the best for their kids, and I want to give them as much opportunity as possible that I try to do for my child.
I want to go back to something you said earlier about students losing, students oftentimes in underserved communities losing 2 to 3 months over the summer when they're not in school. Explain that a little bit more. Why would they be losing 2 to 3 months when, I mean, other kids are, everybody's out of school for 2 or 3 months?
Sure. So a lot of students will experience some level of loss because obviously you're not actually doing the academics like you would during the school year. But there's the big difference more than ever right now. Middle income families are putting more dollars and more resources into providing camps. They're having a variety of different experiences that are keeping their minds and brains thinking in that same way, in the same fashion. While these lower income children often don't have those opportunities because it's frankly extraordinarily expensive. And if we don't start giving them these opportunities and doing something about it, we are going to pay for it as a nation. We are not filling the economic, our responsibilities to produce active children.
And we're going to wrap it up, but how
Yes.
can anybody interested, how can they find out more about your program?
Sure, they can go to our website at experiencebell.org.
Okay, and we'll leave it right there. Dr. Lauren Sanchez Gilbert, from CEO of Bell. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming in. All right, well, coming up, an interesting pair of local residents who have one thing in common, a desire to help the local community. Details coming up right here on Urban Update.